What's up everybody? Just recently we got a rather intriguing bit of information from lead Overwatch writer Michael Chu regarding one of Overwatch's most long-running, infamously mysterious characters, Liao. This is Master Ian Gamer, and let's get into it. Now, depending on how long you've been playing Overwatch, you may or may not even be aware of Liao as a character. Their name first appeared way back in May of 2016, the same month that Overwatch first launched, in a story-based article which was outlining the history of Overwatch the organization. At one point in the article, it lists the names of the 6 founding members of Overwatch, being Morrison, Reyes, Amari, Liao, Wilhelm, and Lindholm. Now, we of course at this point know that 5 of these 6 are actual heroes in game, being Soldier 76, Reaper, Ana, Reinhardt, and Torbjorn, but Liao has yet to make any official appearance. In fact, we don't even know whether they're a man, a woman, an omnic, what they look like, what age they are, what sort of special skills they might have, and what role they even ended up playing in the founding of Overwatch. And perhaps most intriguing of all is that despite this article being posted nearly 4 years ago, we have never since officially heard Liao acknowledged as being a member of the Overwatch story. That is, until yesterday. On Twitter, lead Overwatch writer Michael Chu was asked about Liao and their status. Now, Michael Chu responded to this by saying, "Definitely still an important character. More to come." Now, first and foremost, the most amazing thing this reveals is that Liao was not retconned from the story, which is something that a lot of us had suspected may be the case. Another bit of Overwatch trivia, which some of you newer players may not be aware of, is the Overwatch First Strike comic, which was originally planned to be released in late 2016 or early 2017, and was supposed to outline the origins of the Overwatch organization. We even have cover art of this comic as well as a few screenshots of pages from it, but sadly this comic ended up being scrapped entirely not long before it was slated to be released. According to the developers, the reason for it being scrapped was that Blizzard decided to take the Overwatch story in a slightly different direction, and thus the comic didn't line up quite with what they were wanting to do. Now, looking at the cover of the comic, we can see 5 of the 6 founding members of Overwatch, along with what appears to be a white-haired woman and some kind of omnic. Given that the other 5 members on this cover are the founding members of Overwatch, it's been highly suspected that either this woman or possibly even the omnic we see here is in fact Liao. But given that the comic was scrapped in favor of taking the story in a different direction, it led to speculation that possibly Liao as a character was scrapped as well. But lo and behold, after years of silence, it's finally been verified that that isn't the case. So Michael Chu's tweet may verify that the character is still a part of the story, but who are they? Will they eventually be a playable hero at some point? Unfortunately, it's a bit hard to say. Another popular theory about Liao is that they may have died at some point during the Omnic Crisis or the years following it. Perhaps from a story standpoint, Liao's death would be some sort of significant milestone in bringing the team together and helping the rest of the Overwatch organization to overcome some sort of significant obstacles. From a story perspective, there's certainly a lot to work with when it comes to a valued team member dying, and in Michael Chu's tweet, he doesn't verify whether or not Liao is still alive, so simply saying that they're still an important character could technically mean that they did in fact die, but their death was important, and them as a character was important, and we're going to learn more about that through the story as opposed to them being added as, say, a playable hero. Alternatively, we could very well end up seeing them be a playable hero, and they may even end up in a similar situation as Sojourn. Sojourn is a really interesting example because, kind of like what seems to be happening now with Liao, she was originally teased way back in the early days of Overwatch. She showed up in this group photo, and even in the Recall animated short as one of the faces on the screen. However, after these early appearances, she wasn't named or shown whatsoever for a few years, right up until Storm Rising released, and we started to see more development of her as a character, character, which at this point has culminated in the confirmation that she will in fact be a playable hero in Overwatch 2. So is it possible that Liao is following a similar sort of path? They were first mentioned and teased way back before the game even launched, and now have just been sort of lurking in the background waiting for the proper time to come into the story and maybe even the game itself. And maybe just like Sojourn, they're going to end up being a playable hero in Overwatch 2. One other quick thing I will mention though, since I brought up the picture, is that Michael Chu has confirmed back in 2016 that this character here isn't Liao. This was in direct response to a question he was asked at San Diego Comic-Con. So of all the characters we've seen show up across the story of Overwatch, this is the one character we know for sure isn't Liao. So if Liao is in fact still an important character, when can we expect to see more of them? Unfortunately, it's still horrendously up in the air. Just because someone from the Overwatch team mentions the character specifically doesn't guarantee we're gonna see them anytime soon. Perhaps Chu is teasing them as being a character coming in the imminent future, or maybe he's just giving us our bi-decade verification that Liao is a thing that exists. Definitely let me know your thoughts about this one though in the comments down below, as Liao is a character which I've actually talked about a good bit in the past. I've done some of my own theories about who they could possibly be based on their name and what we know about the rest of the Overwatch organization, so despite those videos of mine being pretty old at this point, I will still include links to them on screen so that you can check them out and see what I had to say. And of course, I will be keeping you all up to date with any new information we learn about Liao or any other heroes in game, so be sure to stay tuned to my channel. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it with your friends if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up the bell to never miss any of my future Overwatch content. This is Master EN Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.